Good afternoon. I'm live and recording. I'm here again. I'm laughing at the beginning because I've done something different and I'm not seeing on Facebook yet. Where am I? There I am. Hello. Now it says live. There's always a lapse on here. So good afternoon. Welcome. It is Monday, March 21st, 2022. So if you are joining in, okay, all these little noises in the background. One of these days I'll get this so that it runs perfect and I don't have any glitches. What I did different today was to set it so that it knew when I was going to go live, and then I pressed the button. So I'm going to try not to look over there and see myself. Okay, welcome. I am live on both Facebook and YouTube. So please comment, let me know you're here, where you're from, and if this is the first time that you have found my channel and my Facebook page. And let's see, where to begin? First of all, if you are here for the first time, hello, Gloria. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel and like and share, and that always gives me a good reach. I'm really happy to do that. So, and commenting is good, because last week, I should have been doing this all along, but last week I said I would choose a winner of the card that I made last week, and then I did a random selection, and so she's not here yet, but this was the card from, let's see, let's go down to my desktop, and this was the card that I made last week. And LJ is the winner of this one when I did the random selection. So I will do the same thing today, and the card that I make today will be selected, and I'll let you know next week who's going to win this one or that one that I'm making today. But this was last week's with this acetate on here and the flowers, and this is one that is on the sale. So I'll put that aside. So here we're starting. We continue with the Savings Are in Bloom through March 31st. And the Stampin' Cut Mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and 13 bundles are not just 10% off, but 20% off through the end of March. And the one that I used last week was the Quiet Meadow bundle, and that's the one that LJ will win that card. I do believe I have her address. And then what I'm going to show today is the Waves of the Ocean. I've talked about it and said I was going to show this, and so finally I'm pulling this out. I love this. This is our early release that will be in the new catalog. The Waves of Inspiration bundle will be in the next catalog, but the awesome paper, foils, and gems will not be in the next catalog. So I would suggest to you that if your budget allows, you could get the whole suite or collection now for $79.25. But if you only want to get these accessory items now, because they will not be in the next catalog, you could get those now. And again, it's while supplies last or through May 2nd. Welcome, Francine. Welcome, Nancy. Thank you. So just something to consider, and I think you're going to like today's card too. And if you saw the previews, I set that up a little bit ahead of time so that you can see what I'm going to do today. And it is basically, let me show it up here a little bit closer, this card right here. And when we get releases of new products, Stampin' Up! Will let us have ideas on how to create the projects. And we call that casing, copy and share everything. So I am casing this card right here, which I have already made. I'm going to make another one today. And they give us the directions on how to make them. So that's what I'm doing today because it just enthralled me. So let's go back here, and I'll just leave my desktop here so I can zoom in a little bit better to show this. So when I did some research on this, there are several different ways of making a sunburst for your cards. I tried one way, which was a little bit more time consuming than what I'm going to show you today. And it is cutting rectangles in a diagonal and putting those on the card. And actually, that's the way I did this first one. Okay, that's the way I did that one. But I've got a different way, and this is actually, I think, the way Stampin' Up! Gave us the directions, which I finally figured out what to do. So let me show you. And I did, if anybody is following along what I'm doing, because I said in my preview on Facebook to grab a 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece of paper, and this is just copy paper. Hey Nicole, welcome. This is just copy paper from my printer, so it's very thin, but just to get the idea of what to do, and then you can transfer it to the designer paper or even cardstock or whatever you might want to do. So I will show you here on how to do it, and then switch to show you how it's done with the DSP, which I've already pre-done a little bit of that. So it's a 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece of paper. And you need some scissors, paper snips. To do some of the cutting, I like a pair of a little bit long bladed scissors, but that's optional. You need a pencil and a ruler. Now, I do have a centering ruler. If you've never used one of those, this is 12 inches, but it has a 0 point here in the middle. So when you know what the size of your paper is, you can easily find the center point. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense, and maybe it will when I get started. So let me move a couple things out of the view here so that you can see what I'm doing. So I've got a nice sharpened pencil, and I know that this paper is 5.5. Half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So what I do is find 2 3/4 here. There, I think you can see it a little bit better. I find the 2 3/4 here and line that up on both sides of my paper and make a little mark. And then, welcome Carol. And then the other side is 4 1/4, and half of that is 2 1/8. So I'm going to go to the 2 1/8 line right here. Maybe you can't see that very well. So 2 1/8. So it makes it so easy. So 2 1/8. So I'm going down here where I had made the little mark for that, for the vertical, and I'll put a little mark at the 0 there. So now I have the center point of my paper. LJ, welcome. Forgot to set your alarm. Guess what? You won last week's card for the comments. So you're going to be getting this in the mail. And I'm pretty sure that I do have your address in my contacts. So you're going to get this one. Welcome. So the idea is to comment. Tell me that you're here. And then I will also check comments if there are any on YouTube as well. All right, back to this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, LJ, you forgot all my math here. Oh, wow, thanks. Okay. Where I found the center point of this 5.5 by 4.25 piece of paper that will allow me to, let's zoom out again, allow me to make the sunburst on this. So with the ruler, and just as a reminder, if you're using designer paper, you would want to use the opposite side. Flip it over, and I'll show you that in a minute. Flip it over and draw your lines on the back of your designer paper. That way you don't have to worry about erasing pencil marks or stray marks or anything else. So what I want to do is, let's turn this over this way. I know, let's move my ink pads out of the way. I don't want to start right in the corner because I want to have a little bit of the sunburst, if you can see in this card here. I want to have that. And then just make sure wherever you start goes through the center point that you just created. And then just turn it so some of them can be wider, some of them can be smaller, and just make that sunburst all the way around your card. So that, it takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth the result. Trust me. So while I'm drawing, I hope you're all enjoying the first full day of spring. And as I said here, we've got beautiful weather today, but colder as the week goes on. Now, I did see some other instructions for doing a sunburst, and if you go to Pinterest, you will find a lot of different suggestions for doing them. I want one where I'm using the center point. I've seen some others where designer paper goes from this point and then they use something down at the bottom. So if you want more information, you know Pinterest has everything that you need in the entire world. It is a good way of using scraps, LJ. It's a great way. So now we've got all of these lines here. So what's next? I want to start cutting. Oh, this is my other little trick here. I know that I'm going to be putting a piece of cardstock in the center. So the center can look kind of all messed up for the cutting part. So what I have been doing is drawing a little circle, and this is plenty big. So I know where I want to cut, because you don't obviously want to cut right to the center. You're not going to cut these out, you're just cutting them up, and that's a little bit off center, but that's okay. Now I'm going to grab my long bladed scissors. This is the one I want to start with up here, because I know I want to keep this part of the burst, okay? And so I'm going to be eventually cutting out every other one. If that makes sense, okay? So we've got that. So I'm not going to bore you with all of this, because I do have some of this pre-done. And keeping in mind that this is copy paper, it's pretty flimsy. But it works, and it really doesn't take that long. So let's just do a few here, maybe about half. And to give you a little tip, one, you can make actually 2 cards out of this. The parts that get cut out, if you are wanting to save those, you can make another card with the pieces that are getting cut out. So let's stop about that point. And then start cutting out, and that's why I like to have the circle there, so I know I've cut up to that point. Cut the ones out that you don't want. And if you do keep them in order, you'll be able to add those to another card. So I'll show you that in a minute. I really don't need to do it on this one, but okay, that's all the further I cut. So here's what you end up with. Okay, and again, this is just copy paper. This is just for a sample so that you know how to do it. And basically every one will be different. You'll never draw the lines exactly the same unless you absolutely think you need to do that, but I don't think you do. So you just have a center point and start drawing lines that will intersect the center. Okay, here was another one I did where I didn't really make that center part there. But keep in mind then too that there is going to be something to cover that up. So the teacher and me, if you have any questions, please ask. All right, let's put this away, and I really don't need to keep that. Or that one. Now, let me show you, and then I'll get another one ready to go. Okay, let's make those noises go away. This was one that I did using the marbled paper that was part of the celebration. And then I could put that over there to create that. And then you got the sunburst to come out that way. So let's see, where is my, here we go. So this is what I'm going to do today, keeping in mind that it's already been done and I drew the lines on this side. There you can see them. And there, that's what's going to go on the card. I think I like it up in this side better for the top, although it really doesn't make any difference. Okay, is everybody with me on that? Did anybody decide to follow along what I was doing? Okay. And also what I like to do with this one is have my card base, and yes, I could put this on the card base, but I, for some reason, like to have it on a separate piece, the same size, the 5.5 by 4 1/4, and it will make the card be a little bit thicker, but I think it really dresses it up a little bit. LJ, yes, can you reuse the sample as a template? You could do that. If you want to do that, I would suggest using a, obviously not copy paper, but if you have some thicker cardstock, or do it on a piece of colored cardstock and then draw that, you could definitely use that as a template. That's a great idea. Okay. So I have pieces of this already cut out. This is the lighter side of the paper that would be for the Sunburst, and then this is what's on the opposite side. And you almost hate to cover any of this paper up. And I don't know if I showed kind of my addled brain today, and I'll tell you why I'm so crazy today in a minute. But this is the paper. And if I've shown it before, I apologize, but it is just, yes, Donna, I would do that. Love to learn. That's what we're here for. And I love to teach. That is my passion. I love to do that. It's just, stampers are so much better than high school students. Yes, they were sweet, but let me tell you. And then this is the opposite side of that. And here's another one. And wouldn't it be fun to just stand up and pour paint on a canvas? I think that's called something, and I think there are places where you can actually go and do that and make your own canvases for your wall. And this paper would be awesome just put in a 12 by 12 frame. And there's the other side of that, even with some of the orange. Doesn't it make you want to just go away and spend some time at the beach in the ocean? This one, I've used one of the pieces there, and this is the opposite side of that. And here is another one. I haven't cut into this one. And that. And here is one where I've used parts of that. And then here's another one and that. It's just, oh, and I don't know why they tempt us with this to give us only a few months with this. So I hope we get more of this paper at some point. So yes, stampers can drive us crazy too, but that's why we love it. So, so keep in mind that I have already done that. So let's go to the next step. I didn't think you needed to see it twice. So let's get some scissors out of the way. And this handy dandy ruler. Again, it's a zero ruler that measures that way. And all these other little pieces of paper. So now I want to take this piece of paper and grab some blending brushes and put even more color back here. So I'm going to start with some Bumblebee. Bumblebee is an in color that is going to be going away by May 2nd, and we will be getting 5 new in colors. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to focus on some of the things that will be retiring, and especially the colors, because now is the time to get them. Because once they're gone, and if you don't have the in colors that are going to go away, grab them now. And I strongly suggest that you also get a refill to go with them, because then your ink pad will last a very long time. So I'm going to use my yellow and kind of tap, tap, tap in here. And just start blending out. Now keep in mind that most of that center point is going to get covered up. So I want to add plenty of color out there, but not so much that it takes away from the designer paper. And on this one, because on my sample card, I didn't go out far enough, or at least what I think was far enough, to get the color on there. So now let's use an orange one. And this is Calypso Coral. And I like to tap some of that surface ink off and just add a little bit more orange out there. LJ, I love my stamping friends. We have bonded. We're great. So let's see before I put that on there. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. So there's some color that will show out there. And here again, that part of that center is going to get covered up as well. So let me just add a little bit more there of the orange. I love the blending brushes. They're just wonderful. Okay. Now, I also made a little note on the preview that I was going to give you a tip on using Stampin Dimensionals. Now, on one of my cards, this one that I was playing around with, that marbled paper, I just glued it down, and it looks okay, and it is okay, but I like giving dimension to it, which I have on this one. You can see how that's popped up. Whoops, let's get back in the camera here. You can see how it's popped up, and it really makes a difference. It just pops out at you. So I have learned this, and I think I was listening to an Australian stamper. She is not a demonstrator. And actually, I don't remember her name right now. And let me give you my tip. So I'm going to add dimensionals here, put some in the center, and then I may switch to the minis for some of the thinner parts. So just love Stampin' Dimensionals. Sometimes it seems like overkill, but you don't want it to collapse in the middle. And they're very affordable. You could actually cut them in half, I suppose, or just use the minis. But they just really kick up a card so much. Let's see, one more here, and I'm just going to put a couple minis on this one so it's closer to the center. All right. Now the fun part of removing all of these and making sure they don't end up upstairs or in the laundry basket or whatever. Speaking of laundry basket, while I'm taking this off, if you were here last week, my phone was ringing. And let's see, that was on Monday. And I think I had 20 some robocalls that day. Let's add another one here. And it continued throughout the week. And I started tracking them, and I don't think anybody, none of them left a message. This is very, very disturbing. So I've tried blocking them on my house phone. Again, this is my house phone, not my cell phone. And so now I just unplug my base phone, and I'll still get calls if they come in. And if anybody wants to talk to me, they can, but most of them don't. So let's see. I think they all look shiny. You want them to be shiny. That way you know you've got them all off of there. Okay. I know some demonstrator somewhere draws a line through all of them with a marker. And then when you pull off that little piece of paper, you know that you have them all. So it's just another step, something that you might want to think about doing. Okay, most of them are going in the trash. Okay, now here is the trick. Um, I have my phone, my house phone through my cell, or yeah, my cell, which is separate, and my internet and my cable. So I'm hoping they do have part of the app that I can go in and make some adjustments, I think, and block up to 30 phone numbers. But what I found, at least on one, most of them don't even show where they're from. It's just a phone number. They just keep changing numbers. So anyway, back to this trick. You know that once you put these dimensionals down on your paper, they are sticky, sticky, sticky. And sometimes you might want to, let's get the camera here again, Pat. You might want to have some wiggle room. So this is the trick. Especially when you've got a lot of dimensionals, like something like this. Add a little dot of your green glue. We love our green glue. To your dimensionals. And now it will stick as well as have some wiggle room. How about that? Oops, I didn't take the things off the centers here. There we go. So just a dot is all you need. I think I got them all. So has anybody ever seen that little trick before? I guess not. Okay, so now I'm going to carefully pick this up. And put it on here before I get it all on my fingers. See where I'm going. And lay it down. And I can adjust it so that it's right at the edge where I want it to be. And there we go. Welcome, Sue. Yes, be sure to catch the replay. Lots of hints and tips today. Welcome. So now we've got all the dimension on there. And if you do need to move anything around, you still can until the glue would dry. So there we go. Sue, we're making a Sunburst card today. And this is the one that it's going to look like. So, get my camera here. There we go. Now I can add this to my card base. And first, let's put this on here. So I'll use the green glue to add it to the card base. And remember, it's the exact same size. I didn't cut it down 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch or anything. So it's the exact size of the card base. In this case, it's 4 1/4 by 11. So it is a top fold. So now I'm going to add this on here. And let's see. I'm going to add some adhesive to the center and couple of the little sun spokes where I know that it's going to stick. Sun spokes. I'm not sure that's really a word, but it is now. Okay, so there we've got that. And then I've already pre-cut some of the rest of this. This is one of the tag punches. And then you could put ribbon through here. I'm just going to put a piece of paper through here and tag it. Let me stamp something on there first. And on this one I have, "You are so totally awesome." And because there's Night of Navy here, I'm going to add a stamp in Night of Navy. Let's get my scrap paper here. Okay. And this is about 3 3¾ inch long by just a little bit less than 3/4 of an inch wide to fit through here. And then I'm going to snip into that and make a banner. Just snip into the center point. And there we go. I just want to make sure I don't snip into the actual tag there. Okay, that's pretty centered. Thanks. I love to share tips and tricks and things that I see other people doing and figure I can share with y'all too. And this is going to go on with adhesive. I think I did that one with adhesive. I did. Yeah, I did adhesive with that. Just to make sure that that doesn't go anywhere, I'm going to put a little bit of glue underneath there. There we go. Add adhesive to this. And then I have cut out a series of the little clouds. And if you can see these, the clouds have a little piece that you can also die cut out that gives you some dimension on the clouds, and it gives them, makes them look more cloud-like. And actually those look like this. And then here's the smaller one. And I've already adhered those on there just to save some time and make sure that they would dry before I put it on the card. Which paper, LJ? The one that it's still available. That paper is available, yes. But as part of Celebration, we had the marble paper, and there was some pretty yellow paper in there too. Okay, so there we've got that. And let's see, let's add a cloud up here. I'm going to place them where I want them to go, and then I'll glue them down. And then I've got two small ones. One to go here, I've got glue on my fingers, so things are sticking to me. One here, and one underneath a little bit. Yes, I love the green glue, but it does stick. Where you put it, it's going to stick. Okay, let's add a cloud up here. No, this isn't the marble paper. That's what's not available anymore. This is the, I'll give you the exact name of it. It is Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper, and it's 159982. If that helps you out any for making an order. There's that one. And one more. And then we just have to add some of those foil seagulls and some bling. So there's the card as it is right now. And what makes it different is that this has more blue in it than the original, but they still look just gorgeous. That's what's so nice about the paper. Okay, I let my little gems get out of the way here. So let's add some gems. And oh my gosh, these are just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And these come in, I don't know what all the colors are, but they're like Calypso Coral. There's the navy. We've got Granny Apple Green in here, which I love, 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 love. Okay, let's put one up there. And let's see, let's put one over here. Use all the colors. Yep, everything's sticking to me today. Let's use a couple of the smaller ones. Okay, there's oops, that little cloud's trying to get away from me here. Okay, there we go. And then the last thing I like to do is to add some Wink of Stella to really make it shine. And that's what I had done on the, oh, we forgot the birds. Oh, forgot the seagulls. Now on these, I did cut them out with adhesive sheets behind, and that makes them so easy. Those would be a little bit tougher. You could put adhesive on there, but those adhesive sheets really make something tiny like that much easier to adhere. So let's add some birds. And put one down here at the bottom. And the die for that, they cut out 2 at a time. Let's see, Carol, were you asking another question there? Can what? Okay, now for some Wink of Stella. Let's see if I can squeeze some of this out of here. Maybe it's empty. Ah. Okay, I'm just going to, there we go. You can squeeze some out on your silicone mat and then take a bone folder and tap that on there. It should be coming out a little bit better than that. I didn't think that was empty. Well, almost. So, love Wink of Stella. So there's the card for today. And here's the one I started with. So they look different, but they're the same. So I appreciate everybody for being here. Oh, I was going to show one more card. Sorry, that I made yesterday. This was for a team meeting that I had. And this is a little, what we call a center flap fun fold. It's actually a, if you can see it from the side and see it from the front here, like an easel card, and using that paper. And this one shows the pelican. So we had fun with that too. Everybody had a good time with that. And then there's still room underneath to write a message and a sentiment. So, marble-ish, yes. Yeah, anything with a marble look, or I guess just the yellow, you could use any kind of paper for that. Or actually, if you wanted to just use some blended ink blending on your paper of the oranges and the yellows, that would also do the same thing. So again, as I suggested at the beginning, if you look for Sunburst cards on Pinterest, you are going to find lots of different ideas. Here, let's go back to my face here before I leave. There are tons and tons of ideas from way back many years ago that were this and some also some different techniques. So all with different ideas, things that work for some people, and this is what I found worked for me. And it was just so much fun to show and share and tell everybody about it. So yes, so let's see, next week we will be almost to the end of March. I can't believe it. It seems like, where's March going? It came in like a lamb here in Ohio. So let's hope that it's not going to go out like a lion the following week, and then we'll be to April. Just as a reminder, the last chance list of retiring Stampin' Up! Products will come out this Wednesday on the 23rd. So I will post those on Facebook so that you can see that list, and at least a link to it. Let's see, is my internet not working right? Okay. I never know if I'm talking at the same time that it's talking. So, yes, we did have a Sunburst die. Darn it. We don't have it anymore. And it was a great way to make exactly the same thing. So, yes, we've retired some things, then we have to go back to the old way of doing things. So I thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.